Now, former Kaduna State Governor and former Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, El-Rufai, today visited the National Secretariat of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, springing surprises. Well, shortly after that visit to the SDP, President Tinubu's National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, is said to have visited the former Kaduna governor's residence in Abuja. El-Rufai has been on consultative visits to elder statesmen, former presidents, and other notable politicians across political divides in what many have termed a 2027 presidential move. Well, is it? You can see him right there in the pictures, smiling with the SDP National Chairman, Shehu Gabam, and Deputy National Chairman, Olu Agunloye, and other members of the party, members of the National Working Committee. Well, nothing has been said yet, and we continue to wait. But well, for more on this, let's now bring in someone who could have a fair idea of what's going on within the minds of politicians, and that's Dr. Ibrahim Modibbo, who is a political analyst and former member of the APC Presidential Legacy Group. Thank you so much for joining us, and you've newly been minted as a doctor. I mean, you've just defended your doctorate degree. We must say congratulations to you, Dr. Modibbo. It's not easy. Well, talk to us about this move.
Thank you.
We've seen El-Rufai moving around, and today he was at the SDP National Secretariat, and this has got a lot of Nigerians talking. What's happening? Is El-Rufai on his way out of the APC?
Thank you very much, Mr. Sambo, for this timely intervention in the process of good governance and politics in Nigeria, especially bearing in mind that, you know, the Social Democratic Party today got the former governor of Kaduna State as a guest. It is not surprising that Malam Nasir El-Rufai will go to the Social Democratic Party, to the National Secretariat, in further consultations on the future of his politics. Although I've not been very close to Malam Nasir El-Rufai, but I know for sure that for a very long time, after his nomination and subsequent dropping by the National Assembly based on some...
That's his ministerial nomination?
Yes, ministerial nomination, based on some subterranean issues, which I think has denied Nigeria a very fair share of a man that knows where he's going. Now, Malam Nasir El-Rufai has decided to go on the ground. As at the last time, or the last count where I heard of him, he went abroad for in furtherance of his education. I think he's doing a doctorate degree or thereabout.
Yeah.
Whoever knows Malam Nasir El-Rufai will tell you that this is a man that is very proactive. He is full of vitality and vigor, and he's also a man that looks more of a stallion. Bearing in mind that he has this energy, this drive and foresight in politicking. This is a man that's tested being a minister, tested and trusted. He did very well when he was the Minister of FCTA. When he went to Kaduna, what he did in Kaduna is just exceptional. Believe me, before Malam Nasir El-Rufai became the governor of Kaduna State, I was in Kaduna. But shortly before he left, after his second term, when I went to Kaduna, I couldn't recognize Kaduna again.
Yeah, in terms of infrastructural development.
Yes, in terms of infrastructural development, he has done very well. And I think one of the most performing governors in the last dispensation was Malam Nasir El-Rufai, somebody like Nelson Wike.
Yeah, but in terms of managing the diversity of the state, actually,
yes,
so many people score him very low, actually.
Exactly. In terms of managing the diversity of Kaduna, you know, as a human being, nobody is perfect. You cannot be 10 over 10. Definitely, you must have some shortfalls and pitfalls. And I think these are one of the issues that I think even cost him the ministerial slot. The issue of insecurity, and also the issue of being able to manage diversity, of which, you know, Kaduna is well known for. Now, looking at the issue of politics from every parameter of democratic practice, Mr. Sumner, you'll agree with me that after Malam Nasir El-Rufai left Government House in Kaduna, he went on the ground and in limbo, so to say. Nobody was hearing about him. He was not participating in anything. And, you know, the party has not also been considering him for anything. I don't think there was even consultations, you know, to bring him in and what have you. But there's a man that needs relevance. He's a performer. Believe me.
So is he in search of relevance at the SDP?
Of course.
And of course, your former boss, Nuhu Ribadu, was actually with him, trying to talk to him. But actually, what could Nuhu Ribadu have been telling Nasir El-Rufai? I know they've been friends and they had issues over time, but of course, Nuhu Ribadu is now the NSA. He's in government while El-Rufai is out of government. So what could he have been telling Nasir El-Rufai?
Let me tell you, when I was the National Director of Media for Ribadu presidential campaign team, then I knew how close Malam Nasir El-Rufai was with Malam Nuhu Ribadu. Severally, I've read so many articles, you know, seeing this as being even conjoined twins, so to say, because these are people of like minds, and they are people that approach governance from the viewpoint of progressives. They share a lot of common things and what have you. So I'm sure that the going of Malam Nasir El-Rufai to SDP might not be unconnected with maybe consultations, as 2027 is about the corner for him to find relevance. It was just like Peter Obi. Dr. Peter Obi, at a point he was in PDP, when he knew or he thought that PDP could not accommodate him and other interests like Atiku Abubakar and Dr. Rabiu Musa Konkoso, he left. He left to an unknown quantity. By then, the Labour Party was barely not visible. But when he came, he gingered the party, he brought it to limelight. And today, Labour is about touching the sky in terms of popularity rating and in terms of aggregation of public opinion towards the dynamics of politics in Nigerian dynamics of Nigerian politics.
Right.
Now, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, from all indications, based on the research and studies I've conducted, it seems as if he's trying to find a platform. For whatever reason it is, just like Peter Obi, he might decide to resurrect SDP, which is almost on his dying bed.
All right.
As it is now, SDP has performed woefully bad in the last general elections due to inactivity, and also there was no strong contender as presidential candidate. And the party was not galvanizing anybody. You could remember the party that came on board 1989 during the Babangida era. He brought the National Republican Constitution and then the SDP, very strong and dynamic, that produced people like Abiola, let MK Abiola and Babagana Kingibe. And it swept across the horizon of the country, swept the democratic process, and it was able to win the elections free, fair, and credible.
All right.
Now, this is a party that has been in comatose for a very long time because there has been inactivity. Most of the people, strong people with character and distinction, have left the party and have gone to other parties. So I think Malam Nasir El-Rufai is trying to find relevance with a view to bringing up the party. It's a horse. I'm sure it's not a dead horse, yes. It's on his deathbed.
Yeah, I mean,
he can
the logo of the SDP.
Yes, he can.
Well, just to add quickly that Peter Obi is not a doctor like you, a PhD holder. So you were very fair in trying to, give him a doctorate, maybe politically.
Thank you.
But we just needed to correct that.
It's okay.
But very quickly, could Nuhu Ribadu have been begging his friend to say, please don't go into SDP, you may jeopardize Asiwaju's chances. And then also, take a look at it the other way around. Before Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu became president of Nigeria, before he became the ticket holder of presidential ticket holder of the APC, there were talks that one of his legs was already in the SDP then, and that if he hadn't got his ticket at the APC, that he would eventually clinch the ticket of the SDP. So wouldn't the structure of President Tinubu still be in the SDP at the moment that could frustrate Nasir El-Rufai potentially if he wants the SDP presidential ticket?
Let us look at the political calculations of 2027. You see, as it is today, Nigerians are hungry and Nigerians are angry. Nigerians have not been able to find the rhythmic flavor of the current democratic tempo, bearing in mind that a lot of political issues have sprung up under the dynamics of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which are not palatable to the people. The people are suffering. The issue of withdrawal of fuel subsidy without an alternative, getting alternative in terms of salaries increase, looking at the market forces, in terms of price of goods and commodities, looking at even the social welfare of the people. The life of an ordinary Nigerian is diminishing. And therefore, people are not happy. people like El-Rufai is a dynamite. I think he's a dynamite on a kind of block of gunpowder. If you allow it, it will explode. And if it explodes, I don't know. Because truly, in 2027, if this government has not been able to bring in people of character and distinction, and also to bring up people at the helm of affairs of governance, forget about these Alaba market economists that have been just brought around to move the economy. These are textbook economists or newspaper tigers that have not been able to articulate or get themselves attuned to the attractions of the ordinary man's feelings. So people are not happy.
And you think someone like El-Rufai could be the beneficiary of the anger of Nigerians, considering how some sections of the country see him? They say sometimes he's a religious bigot. They say sometimes some things he say actually look like they divide the North and the South. While some people also say that, look, when it comes to being a good leader, he's a clear example of someone who can deliver on his infrastructural promises. He understands a little bit of how to ensure, that things are fixed within the context of a larger society. Wouldn't that count against
Mr. Sambo, let me not be misconstrued as being a spokesman to Malam Nasir El-Rufai. Never, no. But I'm looking at issues from this passionate viewpoint. I'm looking at it from the angle of politics and also looking at it from the viewpoint of academics in terms of politics, having studied Nigerian politics. Now, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, whether you like him or you hate him, you know that this man is a performer. He has been able to do a lot when he was Minister of FCT and has also been able to do a lot under the governance or when he was the governor of Kaduna. Believe me, by today, the tune of the current democratic fanfare might have even been changed in terms of what we are facing now. Because by then, a lot of people are proposing that he will be the Minister of Power. If Malam Nasir El-Rufai, I am telling you, I can lay down my credibility. I can lay down everything that I think I have in politics. That if Malam Nasir El-Rufai was given the Minister of Power, by today it would have been a different story altogether.
So do you think the refusal of Tinubu to appoint him is the Achilles heel of Tinubu's political trajectory in government?
Not exactly. Not exactly. But you see, if you have people of character and decision, if you have people that know what they are doing, it forms the nucleus of a kind of, people with intellectual capacity, people that we tested and trusted that will run the government. Right. If the government has failed in one area, it could succeed in another area. So you see, plus minus, it will give the government a foresight. Power would have been a different thing entirely. But you see, in 2027, if Malam Nasir El-Rufai, of which I'm sure Malam Nuhu Ribadu must have gone to him to plead with him, I am definitely sure, because he's his friend, to plead to stay in government. But this is a person that is very active. He's a person that looks at politics from the viewpoint of a reformer, a transformer, and also a person that can aggregate the opinion of Nigerians to move forward. I know there are a lot of minuses here and there and pluses. A man does not have all that he requires. You must have your shortfalls and pitfalls. And therefore, Somna, Malam Nasir El-Rufai has been seen as maybe a little big, but the beauty of Nigeria is, and politics in Nigeria, whatever you do, within a very short time, we have short memories.
All right, so
we forgive and forget. So by the time, maybe in next dispensation, if Malam Nasir El-Rufai will team up Peter Obi, I can tell you.
Well, that's another very strange combination that you're bringing into place.
In politics, anything is possible.
Yeah,
if they could team up and look at the Nigerian politics from a proper perspective, believe me, if they will team up the issue of religion, the issue of ethnicity, the issue of sectionality, it will all go. By 2027, we are going to see politics that is very hot, very dynamic.
All right, so you think that, lastly, in 30 seconds, you think that President Tinubu may likely be a one-term president? No. Is that what you're saying?
You see, I like President Bola Ahmed Tinubu because from what he has been able to show, he shows that he's a listening president. He's one that if there are voices of the people that determine particular issue, sometimes he tends to pander to the whims and caprices of the voice of the majority. That's what democracy entails. But his major problem, albatross, is the issue of arranging strong political bedfellows who's stuck in trade might likely just be in trying to just occupy space in governance, but without finding solution to the real problems of Nigerians.
All right.
And therefore, I strongly believe there's still room for him to change. This is the first year.
Yeah.
If by next year, God willing, if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been able to aggregate the economy, bring food on the tables of the people, give people transportation, new mode of transport, feed the people, put the food on the tables of the people, and also give education, sound this thing that he is trying to put across. I can tell you, he can change the whole narratives. So I think in trying to, shorten the, trying to plug the gaps and then shorten the distances, what he needs to do is to have a transformative agenda. All these ministers that are deadwood should go.
All right,
by May 29, Mr. Somna,
yeah.
All these ministers that are deadwood, that are not doing anything, that are not performing, they should go. Let him bring people that will be able to aggregate the district of the government with a view to changing the face and character of governance of Nigeria, and I wish him well. All
right, well, we must say that this the much that time permits, but of course we'll always bring you in to help us with this analysis, and we just hope that through El-Rufai will listen to his former friend, or maybe his current friend, if they are still friends, because when people get into government, it's a different ballgame. But we must thank you so much. Ibrahim Modibbo is a political analyst, and of course, former member of the APC Legacy Group, presidential campaign team member, and several things that you've been. We must thank you so much for your immense wealth of knowledge.